I'll have a panic attack between meetings, then I'll check my emails. We got planners for our breakdowns, self-help books for our anxiety, apps for our mindfulness. We're meditating with our phones. How can you relax when your phone's buzzing to remind you to relax? And the economy, oh, that's a fun one. The economy's like this mysterious God we all worship, but no one understands. You ever notice that? They talk about the economy like it's a moody teenager. The economy's down today. The economy's feeling confident. No one knows what it means, but everyone's praying to it. It's the only religion left that people take seriously. The Church of Economic Growth. Meanwhile, we're working longer hours to buy more stuff we don't need, with money we don't have, to impress people we don't like. And we call that success. That's not success. That's an expensive form of anxiety. You ever see someone show off their new gadget all proud? Look what I got. Yeah, great. Now you have something new to lose, break or upgrade in 6 months. You want to know why we can't stop this madness? Because we secretly like it. We love the drama. If things ever got too calm, we'd invent a crisis. We thrive on noise, distraction, and nonsense. We don't want peace. We'd be bored to death with peace. You ever watch people on vacation? They can't relax. They bring their phones, their laptops, their stress. They're answering work emails by the pool. We've turned relaxation into another competition. Who can have the most fun? And you know what's really wild? We still think we're the sane ones. Every generation looks at the next and says, kids these days are crazy. No, the kids aren't crazy. They just inherited our mess. We're the ones who built the world that makes no sense and then told them to find themselves in it. We gave them debt, pollution, reality TV, and fake news, and then said, good luck out there, don't be lazy. Oh, and don't even start with the news. The news doesn't inform, it entertains. It's not journalism anymore, it's theater. You got the anchors smiling while they tell you about disasters. A good evening, total chaos across the globe. But first, this adorable kitten who learned to skateboard. It's madness in makeup, folks. And we tune in every night to get our dose of anxiety before bed. Here's the punchline. The whole thing only works because we keep pretending it's normal. The traffic, the deadlines, the constant noise, the ads screaming at us to buy toothpaste with new oxygen bubbles. We nod, we smile, we keep going. Because if we ever stopped to actually look at it, we'd realize how absurd it all is. The human species is the only animal that pays to live on its own planet. Think about that. The squirrels aren't paying rent. The fish aren't getting billed for the water, but us? We invented money, and then we let it own us. We build a system where we have to work our entire lives just to afford the right to be here. And we call that freedom. It's like we're all actors in a play that doesn't make sense anymore, but we keep going because nobody wants to admit they forgot their lines. Everyone's performing sanity, pretending to have it together, while underneath, everyone's screaming quietly into a cup of coffee. And maybe that's the joke. Maybe the big cosmic punchline is that the whole thing was always nuts and we're the only ones who take it seriously. Maybe the universe is looking down, shaking its head, going, you had one planet, one job, and you turned it into a shopping mall with anxiety. Oh, but you know what? That's where the comedy lives. In the middle of all this chaos. The laughter is the only thing that keeps us from completely losing it. Because once you can laugh at the madness, it loses its power. Once you see how absurd it all is, you're free, even just for a minute. You stop trying to fix the whole world and start enjoying the show. So the next time you feel like the world's gone insane, just remember, you're right. It has. It's always been this way. The trick isn't to escape it. The trick is to notice it, laugh at it, and keep your sanity by admitting you lost it a long time ago. You ever stop and think about how funny our language is? Not the words themselves, though some of them are hilarious. But the way we use them. We've turned the English language into a giant camouflage net for the truth. We don't communicate anymore, we decorate. We take something simple, direct, even ugly, and we wrap it up in soft, fluffy words until it's completely unrecognizable. It's like linguistic taxidermy. The thing looks alive, but it's dead inside. Take a line, for example. People don't lie anymore. They misstate facts or they misspoke. You ever notice that? He misspoke. No, he didn't. He lied. He looked you right in the eye, made something up, and sold it to you with a straight face. That's not a misspeak. That's a performance. But a misspoke sounds gentle, doesn't it? Like the truth just slipped out of his mouth and landed on the floor by accident. We don't even have problems anymore. We've upgraded to issues. I have anger issues. No, you're just mad all the time. He has commitment issues. No, he just doesn't want to be around you. She has trust issues. No, she's just paying attention. Everything's an issue now because it sounds better. Problems demand solutions. Issues just need awareness. And we become masters of this. We don't fire people. We downsize. We don't kill the poor guy's job. We just make his position redundant. That's right, redundant. You're not unemployed. You're just redundant. You've been replaced by a cheaper model, but hey, don't feel bad. It's not personal. It's corporate poetry. Even death got a makeover. People don't die anymore. They pass away. Or pass on, or go to a better place. What place? The mall? You ever hear someone say, he passed peacefully? I always want to ask, what was the alternative? Kicking and screaming. We've got a million ways to say someone died because we can't face the reality that one day we'll all be gone too. We're allergic to plain language. We can't say old anymore. It's a senior. Not a fat, a plus size. Not a short, a vertically challenged. Not a bald, a follically independent. We've managed to invent whole categories of polite fiction so nobody ever feels uncomfortable. It's like we've built a language that's bubble-wrapped against reality. Even the military got in on it. Used to be they'd drop bombs. Now they deliver ordnance. They don't kill people, they neutralize targets. And they don't invade, they liberate. How thoughtful. It's amazing how words can turn destruction into diplomacy. You could destroy half a continent, but if you call it a stabilization, it sounds like you're helping. And in business, the nonsense reaches new heights. They don't sell you things, they'll provide solutions. You're not a customer, you're a valued partner. Your money isn't gone. It's been invested, and when they rip you off, they don't cheat you. They adjust for market conditions. It's not lying, it's rebranding. We live in a world where everything's renamed, rephrased, reimagined, and repackaged until nothing means what it used to. It's like the language went through a public relations department and came out sterile and shiny. You can't tell what's real anymore. And you know who really loves this kind of talk? Politicians. Oh, they're the high priests of word magic. They can take a complete disaster and make it sound like a minor inconvenience. You never hear them say, we screwed up. Nope, it's always there were some challenges. Mistakes were made. Yeah, by who? The furniture? We need to move forward. Move forward from what? The thing you just messed up? It's like every sentence is a linguistic escape room. They've got words for everything. Collateral damage, that's my favorite. Collateral damage. It's like the people who got blown up weren't even the main event. They were just a bonus destruction. The words separate the act from the consequence so you can pretend it's not happening. That's what language does when you twist it. It separates people from the truth, and you can't just blame the politicians. The media plays along too. They don't say a lies, they say a misinformation. They don't say a propaganda. They say a narrative. It's not a censorship, it's a content moderation. You see how that works. It's all about tone. You can't scare people if you keep it polite. The trick is to say terrible things nicely. We're enhancing national security. Translation. You're about to lose a few rights. Even medicine's got its own dictionary of delusions. You're not sick, you're experiencing health challenges. You're not dying, you're in critical condition. And when they don't know what's wrong with you, you're under observation. Translation, we have no clue, but keep the bed warm. And let's not forget corporate lingo, the language of beige walls and bad coffee. You ever read an email from management? It's like a cross between a fortune cookie and a legal document. We're committed to dynamic synergy in pursuit of sustainable excellence. But what does that even mean? Nothing. It means absolutely nothing. But it sounds impressive, and that's what counts. Corporate language exists so people can talk all day without ever saying anything. We've reached a point where words don't describe reality, they disguise it. You're not being lied to. You're being linguistically rearranged. The truth's still there somewhere, but you need a shovel and a flashlight to find it. And all of this comes from one big human fear. We can't stand honesty. Real words make us uncomfortable. If you say it poor, people get tense. Say underprivileged, and everyone relaxes. It's the same thing. We didn't fix poverty. We just renamed it. It's like painting over mold. You can't see it, but it's still there, growing underneath. We think language is about communication, but it's really about control. Whoever controls the words controls the thought. You can't think clearly if the words you use are fuzzy. You can't question power if the language itself has been defanged. That's why everything's softened, blurred, and rebranded. Because if you can't describe something clearly, you can't fight it. And you can't laugh at it either. And laughter. Oh, that's the real danger. You start laughing at the way things are described, you stop believing in the illusion. That's why humor's so powerful. It cuts through the nonsense. It takes all those fancy euphemisms and rips the bows off. You say, hey, wait a second. That's just lying with better grammar. And the best part, once you see it, you can't unsee it. You start catching it everywhere. You're not a late. You're a delayed. You're not a broke. You're a financially realigned. You're not a fired. You're a transitioning to new opportunities. Yeah, like the opportunity to panic over rent. Even relationships are full of this sugar-coated nonsense. You don't break up anymore. You would take time apart. You don't cheat. You were made a mistake. You don't ignore someone. You need space. You're not lying to your partner. You're protecting their feelings. Protecting them from what? The truth? That's not protection. That's emotional babysitting. It's all about comfort. We don't want truth. We want comfort wrapped in nice words. We don't want to hear that the world's falling apart. We want to hear that it's going through a transitional phase. We don't want to admit our society's crazy. We just say it's a complex. Complex. That's a polite word for a nobody knows what's happening. But it sounds important. Everywhere you look, language is working overtime to make us feel better about things that should bother us. We've turned words into painkillers. Every sentence is designed to keep us calm, compliant, and mildly entertained. We're living in a linguistic nursery where every hard truth has been smoothed out with a soft edge. And you can see it in how we talk to kids, too. Nobody loses anymore. They learn valuable lessons. Nobody fails. They explore alternative outcomes. We've erased losing from the vocabulary because it hurts feelings. But you know what? Losing's part of life. You learn more from losing than from all the valuable lessons combined. Words used to be powerful. They used to mean something. Now they're just background music. They hum along politely while the world keeps spinning out of control. Nobody listens to what's said. They listen to how it's said. If it sounds calm, official, or optimistic, we believe it. Your rent is increasing due to market condition. Translation, you're paying more because we can. And yet somewhere deep down, we still crave honesty. We still want to hear someone say it straight, no fluff, no filters. Because when you strip the language down to its bones, that's when you find truth. And once you find truth, you find freedom. But we're not there yet. We're still swimming in a sea of euphemisms, slogans, and corporate pep talk. We're surrounded by words that don't mean what they say and people who don't say what they mean. And that's why it's funny. Because it's tragic, but it's true. So the next time someone says, we are experiencing a period of economic adjustment, just remember, it means you're broke. When they say there's been a downsizing, it means you're out of a job. When they say, oh, we're enhancing security, it means you're about to lose a right or two. But hey, as long as they say it nicely, it's fine, right? Because that's how we live now. Not in the truth, but in the way it's phrased. You ever notice how everybody says laughter is the best medicine, but nobody wants to admit how sick the world really is? That's the catch. They all want the medicine, but not the diagnosis. You laugh because it hurts folks, that's the deal. The world's insane, people are weird, life is ridiculous, and laughter is the only thing keeping us from eating our own shoes. It's like society's one big pressure cooker, and comedy's the little valve that keeps it from exploding. You let out a little steam, have a laugh, pretend it's all okay, then go right back to the madness. But here's the funny part. The people who laugh the most are usually the ones who see the insanity the clearest. The clowns know what's going on. That's why they're laughing. Laughter isn't rebellion, it's therapy. You can't fix the whole system, but you can point at it, laugh at it, and remind yourself that you're not the crazy one. That's why comedy's dangerous. Not because it offends people, but because it wakes them up. It makes people look at the nonsense they've been living in and go, oh, wait a minute, that's not right. Take the news, for example. Every day they feed you a buffet of panic. War, corruption, scandal, pollution, and somewhere between the disasters they'll throw in a segment about a dog that learned how to skateboard. Just so you don't lose your mind completely. It's madness with a smile. But when you laugh at it, suddenly it loses some of its power. You start seeing the strings behind the puppet show. Humor's the last honest voice we've got. It doesn't sell you anything. It doesn't promise salvation. It just tells you the truth with a wink. That's what makes it beautiful. It's not trying to fix the madness, it's exposing it. You laugh not because it's funny, but because it's true. The laughter is your body's way of saying, yeah, I see it too. And that's what people don't get. They think comedy's supposed to be nice, polite, uplifting. No. Comedy's supposed to be truthful. It's supposed to poke the bruise, not put a bandage on it. You can't laugh about life unless you're willing to admit how messy it is.